Hello and welcome to today's video. I'm comparing the differences between the first pattern and the second pattern fighting load carrier from Model 2. You're wondering what I mean by first and second pattern. Those are just terms I just made up just to help differentiate between the original version of Molly and the second version of it. Well, for Molly 2 I should say, to be more precise. So generally, there's not a whole lot of differences. Mainly the differences come from extra tidbits in the way that you're supposed to wear it. And let's begin by looking at the outside. Generally, both FLCs have the same amount of webbing on them. On the outside, so I'm not going to bother mentioning that any point further. The most notable difference between the two is the way that both are closed. The earlier first pattern FLC, this has two buckles, one on top for the chest and one that goes about waist, maybe a little bit above your shoulder. Meanwhile, the other one has the exact same thing done a little differently and a zipper. The zipper is a YKK zipper. Has a pull tab like every other thing in Molly 2. The buckles are different. This uses ITW buckles. Nexus, I should say. ITW Nexus buckles. This one uses that unmarked one that you see with all the later issue gear, like obviously UCP and OCP. And because of that, the second pattern has this little tab down here to help you get the zipper in easier. Move on to the back. You see that they're virtually identical, and in both the same way, except for stitching, as this one has a slightly different stitching pattern here. You can see. And I just bumped the camera there. Oh well. And this one has this different styling. Alright, with the second pattern one, it has a bit more reinforcement stitchings here. You can see that the original pattern is lacking, only has the reinforcement stitch here and here for the waist adjustment tab. Meanwhile, this one has an additional one right at the top to help keep it closed a bit more. I don't know why they need it added, as it doesn't really serve much purpose other than just add slight cost to the material. It's just something that they did. And one thing I would know if someone talks about it, I usually don't run my straps through elastic webbing, as I like to keep them preserved. But since this one's all stretched out and these are non-original, I did in that case because I don't really care. Now let's move on to the inside, unless I missed something. One difference I did make, which is the most commonly seen difference, just by looking at it, is at the top. So you notice with the first pattern, there is basically nothing up here except for a little bit of material to help reinforce it. Meanwhile, the second pattern introduces this bit of webbing that hangs down like this. And since you can run like a carabiner through here and take stuff off of it. Now on to the next section. Before moving on to the inside, it's best to look at the channel where the utility belt sticks out of. So you see on the original here, it doesn't have a whole lot of reinforcement. It just has this one little piece of threading here just to keep this closed a bit more. Utility belt doesn't have this. It sticks out with this nylon material. It has this 3-bar buckle on here that, when in use, helps keep the belt from undoing itself over time from wearing use, which is something I noticed with the Molly LBV, with the original Molly utility belt. Then it features a Fastex this fast side release buckle. That's about it. It's pretty simple. However, the second pattern changes up a whole lot. Again, using a Fastex buckle, it still has the same thing where it has the utility belt here, and then this nylon material sticks out, and this. But however, the 3-bar buckle is not attached to the is not attached by the material running through it. However, it's attached to the FLC permanently. You see here. Get the light in. And the way that we done is that they have essentially it runs through the buckle here. So essentially it looks like kind of like a snail. So it runs through here, around, back through, around the buckle, then goes back through here just for the top portion. And what this allows us to do is allows you to do this pull on to tighten it, allowing for it to much easily be adjusted the moment it's noticed. And for the channeling itself, if move the reinforcement piece from right here, yes, to right here. And that does a better job of keeping it closed by closing off completely. Then add another little piece of reinforcement for whatever reason. Maybe because it's like double thickness, or maybe for the zipper, who knows. Most likely not. And that's the zipper. And, well, not the zipper, the opening in the channeling. Now with the inside, there's basically little to no differences at all. The only differences that are noticeable are those that I mentioned from the outside point of view. And with this being the last section of the video, I make a few remarks about the future before I move on. So starting this month, I'm going to start becoming a bit more busier. So if I start to have a less frequent upload schedule, maybe every couple of months, or maybe late in the month than usual, rather than this, like towards the end of the month rather than the middle, like I usually do. It's usually because I'm quite busy, and that type of busy takes precedence over my video making. So if I become less frequent and you enjoy my channel enough, well, you're gonna be sad. But oh well. And also, plus, I'm starting to kind of run out content to make, because I like to make sure my videos are completely complete. What I mean by that is I have every little thing that I'm going to mention. Well, not usually, but I want to make sure, like, for instance, there's like helmet cover A, B, and C. Well, I want to have helmet cover A, B, and C just for the video. So, I just want to get that out there. And this is the end. Goodbye.